When you look at the past two games, getting off to slower starts than you have been at the beginning of the Pac-12 season, what are you seeing at the beginning of games there?
Well, a little bit inconsistent. We went through a stretch where our starts were just, we were shot out of a cannon. For the most part in the preseason, it was late. Our starts were average, below average, and really happy where we for most of the Pac-12, where we really started off defensively a high level, a lot of intensity. Defense sometimes was our best offense. Got leads, got ahead. We have had our opportunities to be where we've been behind, and we haven't, but we've shown resiliency and stayed together. And so I think the experience of being in both situations is going to help us. Find ways to win when it's not pretty is important. And coming out, and hopefully you're going to have those good starts, but if you don't, you know what we have to do to be able to recover and show poise and win the game. And obviously I'd love every start to be 11-2, 12-2, whatever it may be. But for the most part, it's been inconsistent.
What are you learning about your team as you're playing these teams for the second time in a row, or second time around, and some of the challenges that you have?
Yeah, it's great. The great thing about league play is everybody's so familiar with everybody. Personnel, now it's the second go-around playing these teams, and the fun thing about coaching is trying to anticipate what you think their adjustments are going to make, and you go back and you review the game, and you're playing chess. You're going back there and seeing how you can improve and where we can attack them. I'm sure they're trying to figure out how they can shut us down, vice versa, and that's what makes this coaching thing hard and competitive and fun. And so just excited for this challenge. He's a great coach. He's not a good coach. He's a great coach. They start 3 freshmen. He's done a really good job. They always find a way to be in second place, first place, third. But they're always in the top of the standings, and they gave us the business last year, and hopefully we can change that this year.
Hey, and just the last time you played them, you really took away the 3-point shot.
Yeah.
Like 6 for 30.
Yeah.
You see that also being sort of like the game plan this time around? Or?
Well, it goes back to 46, 47% of their shots are threes. It's a big part of what they do. A little bit like Washington State was. You've got to make sure that they can't get hot from there. I mean, that's just the bottom line. When a team is making, I think it's 10 or 11 a game in league, you got to shut that down. I mean, it's got to be a big part of what you do. But on the flip side, you got to, it's a whole defensive game. It just becomes awareness, and that's where our energy and our rotations and our multiple effort mentality become in play. They're a great offensive team. They're the #1 offensive efficiency team in our league, and it will be a challenge, but it'll take a lot of effort, a lot of awareness of where their shooters are, and that will be huge.
And then on like the other side of that, it seemed like they forced you guys to sort of go to your sort of second or third option. I mean, that was a game that it wasn't a big game for Noah, it wasn't a big game for Jalen, but you had big games from David and from Nas.
Yeah, and teams always come in, and it goes back to they I'm sure were saying we're going to shut down these 2 guys or these 3 guys, and that's why you have a team. Other guys can step up and score. It'll be interesting to see how they honor the other the guys like you said. David has been one of the hottest players in our league. Nas is, he's had his moments, great moments, and just be interesting to see what moves they make next in terms of how they defend us. Certain teams, it goes back to, I know they're not preparing for man-to-man. There's nothing that we're going to show different. I think we're playing zone. I think it's pretty consistent. You're trying to crack the code and see what worked, and I'm sure they'll make some adjustments to try to get some of those guys some shots, and it should be a great challenge, be a fun game.
Against Wazoo, your zone changed a little bit, where you had 4 guys closer to that 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you do that, and what's the downside of doing that?
We made the adjustment in the second half to how we were going to defend it differently. First half, they were hurting us high post and kicking it out. In the second half, they were hurting us on just lack of communication. We did a much better job in the second half, but the threes that they made late were lack of communication type plays, where that's self-inflicted wounds. That's you're making easily correctable, and something that I think makes us really good and can make us really good in the future. It just needs to be execution. The thing about the zone that makes it great is it's not, okay, this is just it and these are the rules. Yeah, there's a foundation and there's something like a North Star where we go back to we talked about ironing the jeans or washing the jeans and getting them back fitting right. But there's also adjustments to be made, and that's what makes it unique. It makes it very difficult. Like I said, it's a chess game out there.
In the first half, it looked a little like Dean Smith platoon ball. You had all 5 subs in there. What was your goal for that, and can you see that group getting that kind of time again and giving you a
Well, what happened early is, Jalen got in foul trouble, and I've been playing him at the backup point. I wanted to rest David, and it gave me an opportunity to get Elijah in the game, only for a minute and a half, but it wasn't, it's kind of a hard situation for him to be put in with a lot of the reserves rather than the starters. And I just felt the way the game was going, I just wanted to see if there was any energy out there. I wanted to see if anybody had it that can give us a pickup. And they extended the lead, and then it was, you can only go so far in a game like that. You can't let it get out of control. And it was like, okay, you guys 5 back in. Jalen, don't foul. You know what I mean? Real simple. But it takes a team. We've had so much good bench production. You talked about Nas Carter earlier. I think Jamal Bay has that ability. I think Elijah can help us in certain situations. Sammy Timmons start. Those guys have started too. Even though he had limited minutes in the last game, he had a great finish, good offensive rebound. He brings you a big defensive presence, and any of these guys can be a big factor on any given night.
Is Hamir starting to find his stroke improvement?
He did in the last game. He didn't in the first 13, the first 20. But he is a guy, and we know he can shoot. He's a great defensive player. He poses a different problem. Sometimes when you play really good interior players, you have the big guy that can create problems, and then you have like a smaller guy but more active. It's a different look. It's like putting different guys on a player. They pose 2 different challenges, and sometimes in that high post area against a Tinkle or a Reed Travis in the past, or a guy who can make plays, different looks can be disruptive, especially in different parts of the game. And with his ability to make the 3-point shot, it just makes us different.
How's David?
David's good. He's getting better. I mean, it's obviously the shoulder's banged up, but he's one of his things is he's a tough guy. He's tough. He'll play through it, and he just time heals all wounds, and we're a week and a half out of doing that. So the longer he gets, the better he'll get. He's fine.
You talked about Elijah and Jamal, even going on with BPJ and Nate Roberts. What's it like to have the veteran leadership of guys like Noah and Matisse to mentor them and help them early on?
It's great. I mean, at the end of the day, the coaching staff, trying to implement the culture, they know what to expect. You get guys like David, who's got heart and soul. You got Matisse, who's the ultimate professional. You got Noah Dickerson, who, when he's on, he's different. You got Dom Green, who's one of the hardest workers in our program. You always see him in the gym. He's always doing the right thing. He's talking. He's active. He's doing everything. Those guys, lead a lot by example. And so to have those guys and showing them how to be successful in our system is a great thing.
Coach, last year you took your team to Black Panther.
Yes.
Broke things up a little bit. The spirit of the Oscars, any field trips planned coming up for any inspiration?
Well, you know what? Yesterday, listen. At the end of the day, I'm a big into energy. I think we're all at our best when you have your best energy. You get a good night's sleep, you get a good meal, you feel good. You feel good, look good, perform well. When you're tired and you're gangly, you make bad decisions. Legs aren't good, mind glows, fatigue makes cowards of us all, don't shoot well. There's so many different things. And right now, our trainer, our strength coach, our staff, this is all about energy management. And, our system is fairly simple. You got to be aware of shooters. We know our responsibilities defensively, and then we got to be able to make adjustments on the fly. And then offensively, if we get good spacing, we share the ball, and you have your legs, you're going to shoot better. And so I'm big into energy. So getting back to your Black Panther, the movie, this year, kind of like the same time of year it was. And yesterday we had 3 40-minute, shooting session, and I took them all and watched a little bit of tape, and Bye.
That was the movie.
That was their movie, and it was the best movie of the year. It won Academy Award at the Oscars. I was like that. They were like, standing ovation. I won it. I won the award. I want to thank the Academy for everything that you've given me. And, it's funny is to see those guys just, put a smile on their face, and they know what to do. We've got a veteran team. For this team, it was the right thing to do. The staff felt it. And we'll have a great practice today, really prepare for Utah. They got a great coach, great team. They've got some guys that are hot players. Van Dyke is shooting as good as he did. We did a great job at him in Bearfield out there. But Timmy Allen's playing really well. Jace Johnson's a good player. I mean, they've got a good team, so it'll be a great challenge for us.
Hey, just how have you guys gone from sort of, being in the pack of like hunting to being out front and being the hunted? How has that sort of shifted, and have you is your message any different?
Well, I think a big thing is our message is always the same. We have an underdog spirit. We're at our best when we're gritty and we're sharing and we're tougher together. I mean, that's just the way it is. Yesterday was just sometimes it's important to rest and realign. And the realign was don't eat the cheese. Our energy at the beginning of these games is important. Sharing the ball. Like the one thing at the Utah game, we had 16 assists and 9 turnovers. We were sharing the ball. We shot better. There was great spacing, the movement. That's execution. Our defense was executing. We knew where Bearfield was. We did a good job on Van Dyke. Those are all things that are just so critical. But our biggest thing yesterday, our message is all the training that we've done. These guys have 12 practices left, and they've got 6 games, the 4 seniors. That's what they got. And you work all the way to here. This is when you got to get tougher. This is when you got to be more gritty. This is when you got to be more alert. This is when you got to make sure you get your rest. This is when you got to make sure you eat right. This is when you got to sure that you're going to class. This is when you make sure, because it's tough. It's the dog days of winter, the dog days of the year. And it was really good to be able to just realign, get them back centered to who are we? How do we operate? Nothing's changed. This is a team that's still, we're trying to earn respect, and you earn respect by going out and playing well and winning. That's how you earn respect. We haven't done anything. We got 6 games left. That's what we've done. And we've got a great coach, great program that beat us twice last year coming in. That's the bottom line. I will say this. The difference is our crowd has been incredible. And I know, these next 4 games for these seniors, it's a call to all to come to the games and support these guys who stayed here to play here for their school and for their community and for their city. And they've had a good season so far, and it would be a great ending to have, 4 sellouts, 4 great crowds, not only to honor the team, but to give us that support that you need to play this tough competition. The games will be on television for recruiting, for everything. Having the fans, the dog pack, that environment is just a separator, and that's what we're trying to do as a program, be a separator.
Anything else, guys? One more.
I got one more.
Sure.
Mike, you just talked about sort of balancing and the kids being complete as a player and as a person. Where in your coaching philosophy, was that an evolution? Was there any one point that you became present to that and decided that's how you want your players to be?
No, I think the biggest thing is when we're, we talk about being tougher together, we talk about one more, we talk about, we have our culture playbook, the stuff that we fight for, and it's basketball related, but what makes it great is it coincides with being successful in life. It's like kids want to be professional. They always think professional player. You're trying to make them professional people. And the one thing, as through our press conferences, at the end of the day, one of our terms or quotes is how you do anything is how you do everything. And so how you operate off the court is a true reflection of how you're going to operate on the court. I really believe it. If you're lazy, you're going to be lazy on the court. If you're a good citizen and you work hard and you go to class, like everything translates. It all translates. And that's, as a coaching staff, that's the accountability part to our culture. This is how we operate. This is how you're going to grow. And strong cultures, successful cultures, create successful leaders. And that's what we're trying to build here. And so it's from the beginning, it's what we preach, it's what we do. It's everything we fight for on a day-to-day basis.